How hard was the class for you when you first started?
Very, very hard.
It took you to get down the alphabet.
So I would say it took me
A year?
alphabet. I'd already been working the 2 or 3 weeks before class started on that. But comfortable enough to read without help, without pre-writing it out. I would say probably 10 or 12 weeks before I was comfortable enough to do that. And reading. So in our class, they don't ask for volunteers. You're just told, go ahead and read this. So you have to read it.
Sorry.
And there's nothing more nerve-wracking than that, because you feel like a kindergartner or preschooler trying to read something. You don't know where the syllable breaks are. You don't know the flow or the rhythm of it. It's almost as if you're just pronouncing each word individually, and there's no speech to it. So I'd say by about the third month, I felt comfortable reading out loud. But I tried to read a verse or two, even if I had no idea what it said. I tried to read a verse or two every day, just 1 or 2 every day. And that was 5 or 6 minutes of time just to read 1 or 2. I tried to pick one where I could go and listen to, there are a number of Hebrew Bible readings online that are free. So I would try to start at the start of a book so that I knew where the verses were. Because once you get into a recorded reading, you don't know where they are. If you
read it.
No, it's Hebrew. It's reading in Hebrew. So you can hear the language of somebody who's reading it. And so I'd listen to them. I would try to read it. I go back and replay. So I worked pretty hard to get to that point. Now I just came out of an open class, 4 to 5. I sit in on an open class, which are students that are B level and above. So these are people who've already had 30 weeks of Hebrew. And some of these students, I was listening to a C student read, a Hebrew C. So they've done more than a year of it. And they're still word by word, because it's just a challenge to get through it. And that's okay. That's really okay. So now I don't have a problem reading out loud. I don't worry about that too much. But what I do is, if I don't recognize a word, I say it out loud, because then I will probably hear, if I know the word, I'll hear it and think, okay, wait, that's related to this, to that. Okay, so now I know what that is. I have to process it, because that's part of the learning cycle. Part of what Daisy went through with her dyslexia is, when you write something out and you pronounce it as you write it out loud, and you think about what it means while you're doing it, then you're engaging your ears, your voice, and your hand and your eyes. So you're engaging all of your senses in that. And that seemed to really help to do.
Yeah, like
Use the
correctly.
Yeah, there is that. I was in the open class, I was listening to it, and there were a few words that I heard them reading, and I couldn't understand what it was they were reading. But then as soon as I heard the instructor say the word, I knew it, because, you're into the rhythm. It's the same for us. If we hear someone pronounce a word differently, aluminium, it might take you a minute to think, oh, that's aluminum. So it's just the variance in the pronunciation, and it might make you pause for a second, but it took a while. It did. And that's just the nature of it. Even Poppy. There were a lot of students who did, because keep in mind, you're not taking this to read it out loud. And you're not taking it to learn how to speak it. So that's the one element that's missing. Is it's not like an immersion thing
Right.
where we're going to practice sentences and speaking to one another. There are programs that do that with Biblical Hebrew. So for us, it's really learning the pronunciation will help you in determining what form of word you're dealing with. When you hear you hear an O sound in a certain syllable, you hear an U sound in a certain syllable, you hear an E sound in a certain spot. There are patterns to the vowel sounds that will tell you what kind of word you're dealing with.
It's like when you talk, right? You said Dom or Saturn or, things like that. I mean, that kind of helps with the Hebrew stuff too, right?
Mhm.
On how to pronounce them.
Yep.
Yeah. So talk about it.
Or when I see names, Hebrew names in places that I know now, it's hard to not just have the Hebrew come out. Jeroboam is Jeroboam, and because it looks weird in English now that you've kind of gone through it, or Yaakov instead of Jacob. Thank you again to Robin for bringing all the good stuff. So we'll open and start with a little bit of vocabulary. Jay, I'm guessing that's you on the iPhone. I don't know for sure, but I'm guessing. Or it might be Grace. It's the silent iPhone partner over there. All right, no worries. No worries. All right. Who would like to be our first victim here? Do you know it? Okay, then if you don't know, don't raise your hand, please.
Hey, sorry, Darby. Problems with mute. Yes, it's me on the iPhone.
Okay, sounds good. No worries. If you want to just listen in tonight, that'll be fine. Unless you want to jump in, feel free.
Well, I may jump in a little later. I was just going to give you the heads up. I'm just driving back in.
Gotcha.
I'm listening for the first part. I may join in when I get actually back to a house.
Okay, sounds good. Drive safe. All right. Okay, so Brent, you knew this one.
This one's
To kill or slay. It's a murder term. That one is, so it's good stuff. All right. Does anyone know Zot? Zot. And which one? Masculine, feminine? And why is it feminine? It has the oat. Correct. Perfect. And so what would Zay be?
It's
For this. That's right. Zay words on the screen. These words. Yep. Chashav. Chashav. Anybody know that one? To think. Yes, exactly. Chashav. I've done it. It's a chashav. Tov, we did, is good here. What about yad? Yad, hand. Exactly. Very good. And kol. Kol. Do you know this one, Poppy? Kol. Do you know what they're... You should be able to figure this one out. I'm moving out of order. I skipped Yom. Do you know this one? It's all and every. Good job. Very good. So what would that make Yom? Day. That's right. Yom. Yom. The yod is like yellow. Yom. Excellent. Good job. Good job. Clear that off. You guys are doing great. Very cool. All right. Kesef is silver or money. That's about all it'll ever mean. You may see it in other contexts, but kesef is silver or money. This is lakach. Lakach. If you know, raise your hand. If you don't, keep it down. Do you know it? Nope. But you heard that k sound in there, and that's what made you think of that. Go ahead. To take. That's right. Lakach. He took. That's this form right here. This kamatz patak. Well, I've looked at so much Hebrew today. Hopefully it works today. This is a verb word that means he took. It's past tense, so finished action. So lakak. Excellent. Good job. What about moot? It's all moot. Dead. That's right. That's right. It's a moot point. Moot. Makar or makar in this case. That's the sell one. Very good. Gonna sell makar. What about cold? Voice or sound? Exactly. Very good. Kara. Okay. Did you remember this one? Which one is it? It is not. It's to call out or to read. This is the word that we're looking at in Torah where God will create the or, the light, and then he will kara, the light, day. He will call it day. It's to call out or to name, to give a function to. So that's an important word, kara. And then this last one is rav and rabim. Rav and rabim. And notice we've got one, we have the dagesh dot, which turns it to a b sound. The other one, there isn't one, which leaves it the v sound. Rav, rabim. And it means, Poppy, you should know this one. That's right. Use your logic. Very good. All right. Any questions on any of those?
Yeah, why is we're on the call out or read and also
Oh, okay. So the bow kara is kaf resh, I think ayin, actually, or might be a hey,
for the sense for us.
because it has a dagesh in it. So it's a ka and a ka. So, yep. That's why in your vocab, it is important to associate the spelling of the word with the sound and its meaning, because you'll.
Like for Hebrew people, it sounds
Yes, except for them, in a form of a sentence, they would, if you hear kara in the context of a sentence, you would just know it would mean to bow, because if you're going along and now I want you to call out to me, would have a completely different form than say kora, which means bow. Kara, you could say kara-i, bow to me. So in the context of the sentence, as they're hearing it or listening it or reading it, one word would make sense, one word would make no sense.
then
It would be there, and there for us. So
an Arabic person.
it just because of the context of the sentence, their mind would know immediately. There may be slight differences in how it's pronounced. So, yes, Poppy. It kind of means the same thing in the biblical world. So, yes. Oh, you want to do the alphabet? All right. Well, Poppy is volunteering for the alphabet, so I'm gonna test you though. It can't be in the order of it. I can't be in the order. I'm gonna pick some words, some letters, and you're gonna tell me which one. Do you still want to do it? Tell you what, do the first row. Good job. Very good. All right. Who would like to take the second line? Go ahead, Wayne. That's a Zion.
Zion.
Mhm.
There.
Het. Perfect.
Yo.
Final cuff. Perfect. Very good. Awesome. Daisy, I'm going to pick on you. You're going to take the next line that starts with this letter right here. Yep. Samik. That's exactly right. So let me ask you a question. Are there any Begad Kafat letters in this row? Yep. Any Begad Kafats in that row? Poppy? Nope. So you're correct. There are no Bagad Kafats. Are there any gutturals in this row? No, there aren't. Good job. All right. All right. Robin, I'm going to pick on you for this one. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Final pick, correct? Sade, yep. That's a final Sade.
Oh, okay.
It's okay. Yep, exactly. And let's see. Becky, you want to take a shot at the bottom one? Nope. Okay. All right. It's open book. You bet. You bet. That's fine. I did too. You can have notes.
Down, Bob.
That's a resh.
Go down. I don't know how you say that one.
It's a sheen. And then this is seen. Yep. Or sin. And then the last letter of our alphabet. And this is the last letter. Tav. Tav. Oh, sorry. Sin, shin. Sorry. Thank you. Yep. Thank you. All right. My gutturals are which letters?
Olive.
Aleph. Ayin. That's right. Aleph and ayin. That's resh does count. Behaves like one. Yep. I'm sorry.
Okay.
Okay. So hey and het. That's exactly right. Yep. You got it. You got it. Very good. And our Begad Kafats are which letters? Go ahead, Daisy. Mm-hmm. Yep. Cough. Yep. Pay. Yep. Tough. Good job. You got him. Excellent. Very good. All right. Our vowels. Let's go over those really quick. We won't. Let's skip the naming and just give me the sound. So, Wayne, I'm going to start with you on this top row. What's the sound of this one? Ah. What about this guy? And what about this one? And which part of this is the vowel on this one that I'm circling? That's right. It's the kamats and the hay. They form the vowel in this particular case. Very good. Very nice. Carol, why don't you take these guys right here? What are their sounds? This one. Yeah. Yep. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Also.
Exactly. And which part of this one is the vowel? That's right. The seri and the yod. Very good. Excellent. Excellent. Brent, how about this one? Mm-hmm. And what about this one? The parts of the vowel. The hirik yod. Yep. Make up the vowel on this one. It's not a consonant. It's a part of the vowel. Excellent. Daisy, what's the sound of this one? It's a trick. This is one we haven't looked at too much, but notice what class it's in right here. It's in which class? Right here. What's this letter I'm circling? O. So what is this sound of this guy? It's O. Yeah, that one. We'll talk more about when that pops up. And what about this one right here? What sound is it? Yep. And what about this one? That's O. And when you see this, would you say vo or O? Oh, that's right. So you don't pronounce the consonant here. It's representing the vowel. All right. Brent. Oh, do you want to do that one? Okay, we'll give that one to you, Poppy. Go ahead. What's the sound? Ooh. And what do you remember what its name is? Kibbutz. That's right. And what about this one? You're so confident. It's you've got to be sure. Shurek. Shurik. So another U sound. Ooh sound. Very good. Awesome. You guys are doing. Is it getting a little easier when you see them now? Just takes a little time, little exposure to get on there. All righty. We'll talk about the schwa here again really quick because I just want to bring it up. The gutturals that we look at, the aleph, the he, the aleph, the he, the tet, and the ayin, the guttural letters, they will not take a regular standard schwa. They don't take that. They will take instead either a full vowel, or they will take, if they need a schwa, they'll take something that's what we call these composite schwas. And so here's a question. Is a composite schwa an actual vowel, or is it telling me something else about that? What's it telling me?
It's telling you that it's just kind of like a jump place to get to the consonant.
That's right.
And so it'll have a sound, but it'll be just kind of a short lead in.
Exactly. To help you transition to the next consonant. That's right. So the schwa tells us there is no vowel here. These are not the vowels you were looking for if you're doing a Jedi mind trick. These are not the vowels you're looking for. There's no vowel on this consonant. And that's what its point and purpose is to tell us that. But some are silent, some are vocal. That's just the nature of them. But on the gutturals, they will not take a full schwa. They will always take a composite one. And we'll learn as we go through that certain gutturals favor certain vowel sounds. The he and the het often favor a vowel sounds. So you'll kind of learn that they kind of have their favorites because that's an easier way to transition to the next letter. So excellent, very good. And then we talked about syllables. Who would like to tell me about syllables in this particular case? So, well, we've got one up here. So tell me how a syllable is formed in Hebrew. There's open or closed. Exactly. Open and closed. An open one is formed by consonant and vowel. Exactly. What's on the screen. And a closed syllable is
Closed by consonant.
Exactly. And some where we get that pronunciation of it's called the kamatz katan, the one that's in the O. When you see the kamatz letter, looks like, let me draw it up here so you remember which one I'm talking about. When you see this one over in the vowel chart, but it's in the O vowel class, when this makes an O sound is when we have a closed syllable with the kamatz. The kamatz would be like right here, and it's not accented. It doesn't receive the accent influence. That's when that vowel turns to an O. But we won't need to worry about that for a little while. We'll get to those as we go forward. But when you look at that vowel sheet and you're like, why is this kamatz looking thing in an O and this same letter, same character is up over here? That's when you know. And it's fortunately for us, the Hebrew text, the Masoretes put little marks in to tell us when it's a closed, unaccented syllable, so you know it's an O sound. But as it turns out, there are only a handful of words that you really need to be concerned with for that. So the way we'd pronounce this is melek. If you were to clap, like when you did clapping for syllables as a kid, melek. And so it breaks up the same way. We learned that in syllables, a vowel cannot begin a syllable. There's one exception for that, but we're not even really going to cover it because there's another rule that manages it. So you can't have a syllable that starts with a vowel. It's not possible to have that. All right. So that's a little review on that one. Most of what we're doing is just review so we can get to reading. All righty. So we're going to get into a little bit more of what we had been doing. and do some practice here. Excellent. All right. So we had learned that it's a gendered language. We talked about that. You had picked up on the tav ending, or the tav, the ot ending over there. So sus is the Hebrew word for horse. By default, it's masculine, so it doesn't have any kind of a suffix. But if I wanted to say a female horse, what would I say for a female horse? Does anyone remember? Susa. That's exactly right. Very good. Not seesaw, but susa. And I'll just I'm going to skip some of the vowels in here for the sake of time. So susa, it's that kamatz hey ending that tells us that we have a female horse. Perfect. Very good. What if I wanted to say female, the female horse, and make it definite? You just said it. Ha, su. Nope, you're very close. It's exactly this, but you get your first, it's ha, susa. Ha, susa is what tells us that it's the female horse. And in this case, it would be a kamatz, this guy, that one. We'll do the full spelling in this case. Ha, susa is the female horse. Okay. So susa is a horse. Ha, susa, the female horse. Who remembers the plural ending for a noun? Susim. That's exactly right. For that one, we would just simply have, throw up the character up here. It would just be the im, the im ending would be on the same word, susim. Perfect. But if I wanted the male horses, yes. Do you know the answer? Yes. It would be what? Go ahead. You got it? Hasusim. Hasusim would be the male horses. That's exactly right. Very good. Again, for sake of time, and eventually you'll be able to read without any of the characters. Hasusim. Hasusim, the male horses. I love how I spelled female as though it's delivering the male. I swear. That is like that's a mistake I've made since I was like 16. And sometimes you just have mistakes that are in your brain. And yeah, got that there. That's funny. I missed that one. No. All right. Female horses. Any female horse, not the, but any female horses would be. So hasuso would be the female horses. If I just want any female horses, it'd be susot. Susot. Exactly. Susot. Very good. Awesome. You all been paying attention there. Susot. I'm not going to throw the vowel markers on. That'll just take a little more time. But to your point, if we wanted to do the female horses, what would I do? Put the hey on the front. That's exactly right. Susot, the horses.
I remember this somewhere. We're not supposed to worry about it. God, that's it. Well,
So for the
song.
you're talking, no, I should be putting it in the form of the definite article is absolutely would absolutely have the patak and the dogash. That is the marker of the
Well, I didn't
think
so.
It will. Yep.
But we haven't done it.
It's not a bagad kafat.
Okay.
So
I'm not supposed to.
any character, only the gutturals and resh. So let me say the gutturals always reject the dogash. They won't take the doubling dot. The resh almost always, so you can put it in the same category, will reject the doubling dot. All other characters will take it. The doubling dot there is simply for, it's nice. It's a perfect lead in to exactly what we're going to talk about. Just as a quick reminder for the For the definite article, the mark of the definite article is the hey, the patak, and the doubling dagesh. So it's this right here. This form is the definite article. So it's simply a marking to tell us that, which creates trouble because if I have a character like an ayin, an aleph, a hey, a chet, that will reject the doubling dagesh, then how do I know I have an article? How do I know what the hey's doing there? So those characters that I've kind of mentioned before, when you see a hey, you see an aleph, you see certain characters at the beginning, especially at the beginning. A hey especially. Easy way to remember is, hey, why are you there? Sometimes it's part of the root, but not often. It's more likely it's not part of the root than it is part of the root. So
Make it events. Doubling dots.
you would then pronounce it that way. Correct. You would pronounce it. The pronunciation would follow a double consonant, unless it's a Bagad Kafat, in which case it won't. What the Bagad Kafat is telling you is, I'm not doubled. Unless it's following, if it follows a vowel, it's doubled. If it's not following a vowel, it isn't. And that's only useful when you have to start looking up words because you don't know what they mean. You'll need to know spelling. But for this, in this case, this is not doubling the sheen.
Why is it called doubling?
Because when
It'll double our word.
it'll double that consonant. Exactly. It's just a mark of that being there.
It will.
Yeah. So it in this case, we know the spelling of this word is not sheen, lamed, mem. We know it's only here to tell us that we have a definite article in play. That's it. But it gets a little complicated because, as I said, when we do have gutturals, it will change its form. So the hey, patak, dagesh, doubling dot is the standard form. But if our word begins with a resh and it won't take the dot, or an aleph, an ayin, a hey, or a chet, these will not take them. That's why we've been memorizing these particular letters because they behave differently. Then the form of the definite article will change. So we're used to saying a hey and a patak. I like to think, just the way I learned this, for no particular reason other than just sitting there struggling one day as to how can I remember. I like to think of the doubling dot coming down and dropping itself on the bottom of the patak and turning into a kamatz. So when I see a hey and a kamatz down here, and I know that I have a guttural following it, then I am very likely, you can just assume I have a definite article. If it doesn't make sense in the form of the word, and you'll be able to make that out, if you start to unpack the rest of the word, you find out that it's a verb. Well, the running is, that's going to seem weird in that form. So you'll go, okay, I don't have a definite article going here. So that'll happen when you're dealing with a resh, an aleph, and an ayin. Just think of that dot dropping out down to the bottom over here. But on the hey and the het, it just leaves it a patak, and the doubling dot disappears. So the moment you get into something where you have a hey, right, or a hey ket popping in, you see a vowel on the hey, the patak, and no doubling dot. Assume through your reading as you're working it out, you're probably dealing with a definite article in that case. Any questions about that? We didn't really cover that last week. So I wanted to pick that up, that when you see a hey, what are you doing there? And there will be other reasons there are hays. Hays are a form that are used on verbs too, to tell us verb forms. But those stand out a little differently. All right. So.
Bottom of that.
Oh, so this one, is a if you have a guttural that has a I wasn't going to cover it, a guttural with a kamatz that's already there on the guttural, a kamatz vowel, because you can't to go kamatz. So in other words, if I had a kamatz under the aleph, then I could not put another kamatz right in front of it. So it'll change to a sagol here. When you have a guttural, any one of these, this group that has a kamatz on it, it'll change to a sagol. But again, for what you're going to be doing for now until we start learning verb forms, if you see the hey preceding, it's probably a hey and an A class vowel. It's very likely the word the. It's the word the. So thank you for asking about that. Some of those are, it's not very often you get that form on a guttural, to get a kamatz there. So usually what I found was easier to do, it seemed like, was to just kind of get that in your head, and then you'll see an exception come across, you'll read and then see something. It's like, wait, I have a hey, the sagol, I've got an aleph and a kamatz, and what? Okay, wait. And it'll catch you. You'll see it. And then you'll pause and go, okay, well, why is that there? Well, I know it's not a verb form. And I know it's not asking a question. It's not telling me, the interrogative, there's a question, hey. Instead, it's telling me there's probably a definite article there. All right. So new information tonight. How do you say and? And as it turns out, here's how you say and. It is very simply a vav with a shawah on the bottom of it. Just means and. It's fairly straightforward, fairly simple. You might ask, well, what happens if I have a word that starts with a vav? There's only 12 words in the entire Hebrew Bible that start with a vav. So when it shows up, if you find those 12, they're rare, then, good on you. But essentially, if you see a vav starting a word, it is, for all intents and purposes, a conjunction, and. And can also mean, but, then, now, instead. It's whatever conjunction helping word you may need to put in there to make the sentence make sense or make the phrase make sense. So there's a lot of flexibility and freedom on this. Now you're going to find out this vav is everywhere. It is kind of a key to figuring out the structure of the phraseology in the Hebrew Bible, the phrasing. So every new phrase, I don't say every, almost every new phrase, especially in narrative, biblical Hebrew, starts with a vav. So much so that when a new phrase doesn't start with one, it's really strange and stands out. And then within a verse of Hebrew, the vav oftentimes indicates the beginning of a new phrase. So you can have a bunch of vav beginning words in one verse, and each one of those can sometimes be an entire sentence. One word in Hebrew can make an entire sentence, or I should say a complete sentence. So it becomes a really important letter to pay attention to, this vav, this conjunction, and over here. And it has two forms. This is the one we'll see it in most of the time. It's just the vav with a the vav with a shawah. But there is another form of this vav, and it's simply looks like a shurik, which it is. It's you pronounce this not vu, but as the shurik, ooh. And this happens when your word starts with a handful of letters that makes it hard to do just a v and then go right to the next, right? Vish, it's hard. Vish, I mean, it's hard, or, vf, they're hard to do that. Try vav and mem. It's really difficult to get those letter combinations out. So when that happens, the schwa disappears and it just changes to a shurik, and you just simply say ooh, like oosh or oof or or oov. It's an easier, you're already kind of in that mouth motion there. But when you see a word start with a shurik, or as we saw before, the vav with a schwa, you are dealing with a conjunction, and they mean the same thing. They mean exactly the same thing. So this will become one of your best friends in reading. It's going to tell you where the breaks are. And not to make too much of it, it's going to tell us, it's called a vav consecutive is what it's called. If we spent some time looking into the Hebrew Bible, we would find that almost every sentence starts with and it's almost their version of a period that gets attached to the word it's following. And if it were to be translated literally, you would be driven crazy as an English reader. And God created the heavens, and then, and he called, and then, and that's how we mark the breaks, is this vav. So it helps us kind of know what's going on. The trouble is with it is when you're trying to figure out if it's a part of the verb, which it will affect how verbs are translated, or if it's really a conjunction like Wayne and Carol. Now I'm making one unit, right? Becky and Lyon. Now I'm making one unit. So sometimes you got to pay attention if I'm dealing with nouns, or other word forms, if I'm just joining things together. And by the way, they have an or, but they don't use or the way we do. Well, you could have chips, or you could have pita, or you could have a cookie. For them, it's all and. You could have chips and a cookie and a pita, and it can be treated as an or as well. So there's a lot of flexibility and freedom on how you deal with a conjunction when you come to that. So that's actually that's all the new information tonight for class, is just the conjunction, because we're going to jump in and do a little more reading. But conjunction, junction, what's your function? I so wanted to incorporate the video somehow. Absolutely. So yeah. Schoolhouse Rock. That's right. Any questions on the conjunction? Is that pretty straightforward? All right. Pretty straightforward. Well, then let's. Yeah. All right. Well, we started to do a little reading last week, and so let's try again. We're going to see how far we can get tonight on doing a little bit of reading. So you all get to take a moment to freak out because yes, we'll be asking you to read. And that's okay if you're not there yet. That's all right. But if you are, it's always good to give it a shot and see what you. But here's what I want to ask first. So we've been given two words here, and what they are. They're personal names. What is it? Proper names. I'm telling you, it's been a really long day in front of Hebrew vocab, so I apologize for that. But do I have a volunteer that would like to give reading a shot? Do you want to do this one? Okay, go ahead.
The shah.
So this is close the syllable. This is one syllable. Bich. Na'an, you got it. Bikna'an. Exactly. Very nice. Very nice. Yashav Yaakov Bikna'an. This one right here. This one. So Yashav. So here's our first syllables right here. Ya. Our second syllable, our closed syllable is here. Shav. Ya, shav. And then this is ya, ah. And notice that ayin right there takes a composite on that. It's interesting. Ya, ah. And here's my closed syllable, ko, which is Jacob. Yaakov.
How do you do that? Can.
And so this one is beak. You could let it roll, but if you go with hard C, that's okay. Beak. And then it's they're telling us the accent here. Beak na'an. Beak na'an. 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 So this is a syllable here. And then it's actually kind of a composite here. And this was our next one. The ayin, the talk, and the noon. And this is Canaan. Canaan is Canaan. So, and Brent, do you remember what Yashav is? Okay, so it means they rested, they laid down, they settled. So who is it that's settling down? Jacob. That's right. So here's our preposition in, and we've got yes, this would be in Canaan. So you could say the because it's a proper name. So you can say definite article would be assumed in that, and that'd be perfectly fine. So Jacob rested, settled, lived in Canaan. All right, very nice, very good.
Wait, where's the
It is a hey. Proper names, it can create an assumption of the definite article. You can add it and you won't get in trouble because it's a definite place. So we have a definite name as a definite person and a definite place is a definite location. So right. That's why it's not Satan and it's not Satan. It's always everywhere in the Hebrew Bible, Ha-Satan, the Satan. It's not a proper name. It's the adversary. That's so. All right. Very good. So let's do a little more. Here's a question for you guys that I want to put out to you. We've got a couple of words that we already know, but let's get a victim to read first. Do you want to try one of the words? You keep raising your hand, Poppy. I'll keep calling on you. Do you want to try? No? Robin, would you like to give it a shot? All right, here we go. Be brave. That's correct. So it'd be the. And this is a vowel. This is the Olam Vav vowel. So it's just an O sound.
Wait, do you?
You say the, yeah. Mm-hmm. So we've got, I'll help you out with syllable breaks here. So va, ha, and then here's your next syllable. Ah. It's a pa talk. Ah. And here's your next syllable right here. And that's a him. So let's try to say it, put it together. You're doing really good. So it'd be Vaha Achim. You could put like a little bit of a our stress is going to be right here. So Vaha Achim. Mm-hmm. Ignore that little mark right there. Don't worry about him right now. Perfect. So it'd be, this is a resh and a shirk. So it'd be sham Ru. Ru. The shirk, the oo sound. Shamru. Very good. Do you want to keep going? You don't? You're doing really good. You clearly know your letters and it's good. Very good. Yes, Poppy. You want to do this word right here? Okay, go ahead. Okay, so here's the syllable. Eh. This is a top. Et. This is a hey and a ah.
Yeah, I can get something. Someone did that.
What's so?
It's a doubled. Here.
One
So it's exactly hot zone. Yep, it's hots zone.
It's one word.
Hots zone. So you just give a little lengthening to the sade with the doubling. Hots zone. Hot zone. Okay. And what's our last one? Is Daisy in here? Daisy, pronounce this last one. Oh, you're doing this last one? Okay. So it's le. It's a yod. Ah. That's a bet without a dot. So it's a vet. So let's put it together. Le, ya, a, kov. Le, ya, a, kov. And that name is what? Jacob. What is this word? It's not with. The et can be with or im can be with. This is the lamed proposition. Of is one of them. 2, 4, things like that. So preposition here. And we just learned what this is. Now you know what these are. And Joseph, right? And Joseph is how that would come together. Let me clear this out. So let's just really quick, as a quick little test. What words do you guys know in this? Somebody call it out. Achim is brothers. Okay. What else? Son is flock. Yep, exactly. What else? You can pick the ones I've marked. The names if you want. Okay. All right. Yaakov. So you know those. What other words do you know in here?
Daisy's vacation.
Go ahead. This first word. Yep. That one too. Do you want me to mark this one as well? All right. Sounds good. Shamar. Perfect, Wayne. Very good. What does shamar mean? Oh, so to guard. To guard. That's right. That's right. We have 3 more words in here. So do we remember what this one is? It's the direct object marker telling us the object of the action. And we just learned this one. me give you a little hint. You remember? That's right. It's the definite article right here. So you know that one. Let's see where it's placed. And then the preposition we picked up. So as it turns out, you know every word on the page. So that's just kind of putting it together. And now you know what these vowels are doing. So that will be helpful when we come into translation, which I have tried to give a little help for you guys. So who would like to fill in? What's our first word going to be here? And it sounds like Poppy had it. Denied. All right. So, and Joseph, what's our next box here? And his brothers, the root in the here for his brothers is ach. You learned it in your vocabulary is ach. So that's this one right here. And you learned the plural, the im. And his brothers were guarding. That's the shamar. And what were they guarding? The flocks. It's the flock. Yep. And then of Jacob. Very good. All right, let's try again. Who would like to, Daisy, are you here? All right, I want you to read the top line. That's a vav.
Oh. Oh.
Va.
Oh.
Does it help if I put syllables on for you? That will, if it will, yes? You don't know? Okay. So get over to the right screen. So you have a syllable here. You have a syllable here. So give me those two. Yep. And then this is bow. So let's put it together.
Well,
Yep. Try it again. Vo. So let's do it together. Va, ya, vo. Vayavo. Vayavo. And go ahead and give me the next word. This is an O sound. This is a vowel. Yo. Yep. Se. Se. And this is the final form of one of our letters. Fe. So yo. Se. Yep. Let's put it together. Yo. Seth. Yosef.
Yeah.
Who does that sound like? Joseph. That's right. Yosef. All right. And do you remember your vocabulary word for bow? To come, to go, something like that. So this is Vayavo, Yosef. So Joseph came, you could say, with this form, but notice the vav right here. This is actually this is a verb. Yavo is a verb form that means would precisely mean without the vav here. Yavo would be he will come. When we put a vav in the front of it, it turns it into past tense. And he came. But you'll learn about that. So, and Joseph came. All right. Who wants to give me the next line down here? I know it's the only way we get to learn is to go through the stumbling process of being in preschool. So, Carol, would you like to try?
I will.
Okay.
Alle Jakob
Exactly. Yaakov.
var
Badavar. Yep. And then Ra. Just Ra. Oh, you're rolling the R's. Goodness sakes. Very good. You know what? Just keep going. Do the next one.
Oh,
Right down here.
all
All.
it it it
Okay. So this is Ha Achim. This is our root. Ach, brother. But we put the im on it and it's brothers. Very good. Yeah, very, very nice. All right. What words do we know in here? So Jacob, you've picked that one up, didn't you? The Yaakov. Okay. Let me get that back. Get on the correct screen. So Yaakov. What other word do we know? Yosef. Exactly. What other word do we know? Devar. Word, a matter, a thing. Exactly. Very good. What other words do we know? So this Ra is actually a bad or evil. That ayin, my first Hebrew teacher for my first two groups, first two semesters, he made us give the ayin some ayin, Ra. So you'd put it in your throat so that you knew it was an ayin. But yes, Ra'ah, which is an olive.
It's brown.
Mhm.
It's brown.
Yep. Don't you love the language? All right. What other words do we know in here? Which one? Low. Oh, sorry. I see hands up. Low. Let's see. Which ones? I don't have a low up here. We have Ahim. Go ahead, Poppy. This one right here. What word is it? We need to know the word. No, what does it mean in English? Oh, we got to work on your vocab. Does anybody know what L is in English? 2, exactly. Good job, Robin. What about this one right here? All. Another one in the vocab. About. Could be on, upon, can also mean against, something like that. Yep. What about this word right here? The. And how do we know that's a the when the form is patach dagesh? What's happened here?
Well, see, at the bottom says it's stuff.
No, that's right. You're good. That's absolutely right. We would see that and go, what is that doing there? Well, the dot couldn't come here. It's like he tried to go up and he bounced off the shield and came back down.
Gotta do things that make your.
No, I'm with you. It's the only way mnemonics is to do it. All right. So let's fill this one in then. So we're going to start with and Joseph, and I'll just fill this one in here, went This is our next word. What is that one? The L to Yaakov. And we didn't do the bet preposition, but it's in this context. What are they going? What word would make sense? And Joseph went to Jacob with. Exactly. And evil, that's the Ra. And evil, devar. Could be word or what? Report. Report, word, matter. An evil matter could be any number of those kind of things. With an evil, what do you want to pick? I'll let you guys decide. Yes. Report. That'll work just fine. And then the all in this case is against. Usually you'll learn it as on or upon or something like that, but it can also mean against. And it's against who? It would be his brothers, but that's not what it says. The brothers. Exactly. Which
That makes sense. Well, you make more report on.
Yeah, exactly. You start to kind of think you might know more than you thought you knew? No. I'll repeat it.
It was.
I will repeat it the whole time you're here. Vocabulary, 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 vocabulary. If you know your vocabulary, you can figure the word out. If you don't know it, you can, it won't matter. You don't need to sound it out. You can see the words. Devar is a word you'll recognize when you just see it. You know, it'll help to hear it, but when you see it, you'll know it. Ach, brother. It's everything. You can stumble through the rest of it and be somewhat frustrated, but yeah, without the words, it's and trust me, it's hard. In the book I'm following, they don't introduce vocabulary till week 5 this week, but I started to throw it at you early so that you could come through and we could start to read some of these sentences and you'd know some of the words as we came through. So you guys are doing really, really good, by the way. This is, you're picking up some of the pieces in it, and that's all that matters. If you can look at one thing in any of these and recognize it, oops, that was an interesting move to make. Can I get the screen back? Thank you. If you can come through and recognize, we won't get to the next bit of slides over here, but Yaakov, Jacob, right? You all know this word. You haven't learned it yet, but direct object marker, Yosef. This is how most of scripture works. Through here, you'll see it's mostly just names in these first parts. It once you get a little familiarity with it, you'll start to recognize it. Now you know a va, you know a ha. The key is for.
Yeah.
The and you see in here, exactly. Once you're, here you go. Here's one that you guys should recognize. It's the most important, most common word in all of scripture. I don't want to say most common, but very important. Amar. He spoke, he said, which tells us there's going to be some kind of direct speech coming, a quote coming after that. So, and here's another one you should know. Does anybody know that one? Shalom. So knowing the vocab, you can kind of muddle your way through a little bit, and it gives you a little bit of confidence, and you'll start to recognize things and pick things up as you come through. So
What was the word for love?
the word for love is ahav. Right, this right here, ahav. He loved. So anyway, you guys are doing really, really good. All right. I have kept us really long because your food was so awesome. I mean, holy cow. Just crazy. Okay. Do you want me to do these real quick, or do you want me to do them separately and send you a video? Do them real quick. Okay. Can do that. So I also threw in some of the just, I see my things went weird. Excellent. I just typed in some sound it out for you because that's been requested. So Av, you can say it after me. Av. I'll do the other one here. Avi, Avot. And then you can say Av, Avi, Avot right here. This is because Avot is an irregular noun. So if you want fathers, plural, it's Avot. Because Hebrew is not gender as biological. It's just gender and it's bringing words together.
What is Avi
So there is no Avi.
or Avi?
So Avi is a form we'll start to learn probably in about 3 or 4 weeks called the construct form. So if you had Avi Yaakov would mean the father of Jacob. So the E at the end of this particular word in this form would be an of
Okay.
form. Achar. You can go ahead and say it. Achar. Achar. If you see a K and an H, it's the like the box sound, which means behind or after. They're coming after me, or following me. They're behind me. Acher. Don't you love this? One vowel change, and it means other or another coming. So just the vowel change. It's a very flexible word in Hebrew. Can I tell you, this is in my vocab list for tonight before my final exam tomorrow, because I still to this day get these two confused. Okay. 3.5 years. I still forget the vowel form on it.
Oh, it'd make it easy for you to remember. Maybe like the little 2 dots is her and line is
Yeah, I just can't remember if it's her or her that means behind or another. So you know how I figure it out? I just read the whole sentence and go, well, which one makes sense? And that's the one I pick. Eretz. Eretz, which means land or ground. Yes.
Sit.
Isha. Isha is a woman or a wife.
how would you say I am my own wife?
You would say Ishi. Ishi, I am wife. It should be Ishe. Ani Ishe Lion. Ani Ishe Lion.
Why is there like that?
On the Beged?
Oh no, yeah.
Because there's actually a noon hidden in here, but it's been assimilated into the sheen.
Let's wait.
You haven't learned it. That doubling dot does a lot of functions in Hebrew. Beged. Beged. It's a garment, clothing, some kind of clothing. Let's see. Bite. Bite. And then these are batim and bait. So bait, bait, batim, it's a house. So this is a house. These are houses, plural, and bait would be like a house of. House of. So you can see they'll come in slightly different forms. Bat. Bat. What is a bat, my daughters? A daughter. You will actually know this name if you know the name Bathsheba, Bat-sheva, daughter of Sheva. Bat-sheva. And Banot are daughters. That's what I am, we'll say, blessed with, daughters. Gadal. Gadal. Be or become great. He became great. Gadal. Gadal. I think she might be Godot. Is she Godot? She's Godot. That's right. Yeah.
What are you
Godot. To become large. So this one is the verb form. He became great, or he became large. Yep. Gam. Gam. Also, or even, something like that. Also, in addition to. Ha. Ha. Pay attention to that form right there, because that tells you have a question. It's like a question mark on a sentence. Ra'ah. Ra'ah, there's our word evil or bad. So this is the katal verb on this one. The other one was an adjective. That's why you just saw one vowel. So, and an evil report, it's describing the report. This form is it except the ra to see has an aleph, not an ayin. Sounds the same. Yeah, unless you want to get real technical and put the in the ayin. All right, this is seem, not sheen. Seem. Seems like a good idea for you to put your stuff back.
Yeah. Dave. Okay. Put your stuff back, Davey.
Shema. You should know what that one is. I'm guessing he heard is the specific, but Shema is the hearing word. Hear and obey. And shafak. To pour out. Just to pour something out. All right. You guys are doing really good. Don't be too hard on yourselves. Feel stressful, but we're going to do more reading. So my suggestion would be find some Hebrew and just grab a sentence somewhere. You can look it up online. You go to Blue Letter Bible, find something small. I would suggest pick something in the first 5 verses of the first chapter of Genesis. It's fairly straightforward. And do one verse, do half a verse, and just read to yourself. Practice doing some of that reading because we're going to start doing more just reading. Reading is not an expectation that you understand it yet. It's not that. But once we can start to read, then we can start to break down the words in there. We'll find out what you know, and we'll start putting the sentences together. So the learning pace will slow a little bit now because we dumped alphabet, vowels, all these things on you, and we'll probably just do 1, maybe 2 things a week. We'll review and then do 1, maybe 2 things a week. That's it. Simple stuff along the way. And then we'll try to do more reading where we can start to see what it is we can recognize as we come through. And stay up on your vocab. So, and I've kept you way too long. I'm so sorry. But it was so yummy.
This many vocab words for every week.
Yes.
Thanks for posting the things I've done really well.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I did the first 120 in there because I figure by then you shouldn't have a problem being able to see it and pronounce it.
So think off for me since my computer.
Yeah, I've got my
right.
I've got stuff here for you. So, yep. All right. Any other questions? All right, Jay, we will see you later. Drive safe, have fun.
Thank you. I'll see you online again tomorrow.
Sounds good.
I kept hearing about this great dinner. What did I miss?
Well, so Robin made homemade pita. She brought some hummus. She brought some olives. Looks like some garbanzo beans with some spices, some smoked salmon, some grape leaf thing that was super delicious, and cheese, bacon. And yeah, you're not here, so sorry.
Oh, yeah. Did I hear bacon?
You heard bacon, but that's just somebody trying to tease you. So the ringer of bacon has been greatly over exaggerated.
All right. But oh well.
No worries. Awesome. Well, have fun over there, and be safe on the road, and we'll talk to you tomorrow.
Okay, very good. Night,
All
everybody.
right. Bye.